Stay tuned to PBS 39 for a special edition of Focus. Women make up about 50% of the workforce, yet they're underrepresented in certain areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. We partner with the Da Vinci Science Center to learn how local schools, colleges, and businesses address the gender gap facing women in STEM fields. Coming up right now on Focus. Focus is for our community.
Focus showcases the people,
The places, and the issues that matter to you.
Focus on what matters.
You never know what you're going to see when you tune into Focus.
This episode of Focus is a co-production of PBS 39 and the Da Vinci Science Center, with funding provided by the Dexter F. and Dorothy H. Baker Foundation, B. Braun Medical, St. Luke's University Health Network, Daiichi Sankyo, ATAS International Incorporated, Lutron Electronics, the supporters of the PBS 39 Full Steam Ahead initiative, and viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Focus, recorded in the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39. I'm Laura McHugh. In this episode, we've partnered with the Da Vinci Science Center's WISE initiative, which supports women in science and engineering. Women are typically underrepresented in these fields, both in college majors and in the workforce. For more, here's Focus reporter Brittany Garzillo.
Thanks, Laura. We begin the show with three local professionals who share the challenges and triumphs of being women in science and engineering.
64 in Allentown, 65 degrees in Reading. I think anyone could do a STEM field job if they just put their mind to it. I think the biggest thing, though, is going in with confidence. I'm Lauren Cusick. I work at WFMZ as a meteorologist. Growing up as a kid, I've always been so fascinated in the weather. The reason why I love broadcast meteorology is because you get to interact with viewers, whether it's preparing them for their day or helping them get interested in science. Today, though, clouds, some sunny breaks, high 64. Tonight, on a daily basis, I come in, I put together the forecast, so we have to look through all the computer models, look at all the numbers, kind of take an average of that. But then you go on air and explain to everyone what the weather is going to be like after you just saw 20 different ways that the weather could be, and you have to make sense of it. Temperature trend. We have the temperatures getting into the 60s today, tomorrow, Wednesday. And then for young girls and women trying to go into STEM fields, it's a lot of math, it's a lot of science, and there will be all men in your class, but you have to go in and you have to know that you will succeed.
Careers in STEM empower women to be independent and creative leaders. My name is Nicola Couve. I'm a support engineer at PPL Electric Utilities. When I started my career here, I started in the distribution design department. In that capacity, I was designing where utility poles go, specifying equipment for maintaining the integrity of our system. I recently moved into a new position in research and development, and I'm coordinating R&D activities for PPL. I'm very lucky to be involved in the PPL Exploring Post, which we hold monthly meetings at William Allen High School and Building 21 here in Allentown. Each session we do engineering activities and we have a good time. 50% of the students who are there are women, or young ladies. Encouraging women to go into STEM fields, to bring the message that this is not just a man's domain, this is not just a man's career, is extremely important.
A lot of the professionals today are making young women aware that there is an opportunity to get into the field and to show them that they can be right up there with the men at the top of their game in engineering.
My name is Anne Marie Vigilante. I am a Senior Associate and Vice President here at Langen Engineering. I oversee our Pennsylvania office's Traffic and Transportation Division. I have a group of engineers who basically design highways, roadways, driveway permits, traffic signals. We also do traffic studies. When you're driving around, you don't realize all that goes into the pavement you're driving on, or the stripes that you're driving by, and why they're placed at a certain distance. Like, all that goes into what we do on a daily basis. It's rewarding.
I see a lot of what I've been involved with in terms of physical improvements that I can drive by and say to my friends and family, that's my design, I did that. If you want to pursue engineering to be the best there is, you can do it. It's just a matter of hard work, doing the training, getting the experience, and just focusing.
Determination and not holding to any particular notion of what an engineer looks like.
You just have to be very sure of yourself. You have to be very powerful.
It's a wide open field at this time for people to be able to pursue their dreams.
Thank you, Brittany. To learn more, we have a panel of experts joining us. From the Da Vinci Science Center, we welcome Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director Lynn Erickson, as well as the Director of Education, Karen Knecht. We're also joined by Erin Armstrong, the co-chair of the Center's Women in Science and Engineering Network, as well as an Associate Director of Sterilization for medical device manufacturer B. Braun Incorporated. We're also joined from Lehigh University by engineering professor Kristen Jellison. Thank you all for joining us. Lynn, let's begin with you. What is the WISE Network and how did it start?
The WISE Network is a group of about 350 women across the region who are working with us to support aspiring and practicing professionals in STEM careers. It started when we brought together what we thought would be a small group of women to advise us on working with young girls. We held that initial event to talk with these women, and 60 women showed up. And soon we had an email list of 350 women who wanted to help us work with young girls, but more importantly, or as important, they wanted to network with each other and support each other as they pursue their STEM careers.
This is a very specific niche, Erin, that you found.
Yes, incredibly important. Yeah, as Lynn said, we were very, very pleasantly surprised with all the support from the community. There was tremendous, eagerness to have this in place. We have actually about 25 members from B. Braun who are actively involved, and that's growing every day.
What are the goals of the network?
We have three goals primarily. So the first is to create really a community, like Lynn said, a network of STEM professionals for support. The second is to bring resources, energy, and insight to Da Vinci, to advise Da Vinci on future strategic STEM initiatives for women. And the third is really to create opportunities for these women to connect with girls for mentoring opportunities.
For Erin and for Kristen, as women who were working in this field, was there a real thirst to connect with other women in your field?
I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it in the area. That's why it's so exciting, but absolutely, it was wonderful. The energy in the room when we had this first networking event was just insane.
Kristen, why was there such a thirst out there?
I think when you're an underrepresented person in your field, it can feel like you don't fit, or like you're not qualified, or you just can't compete with your peers. And to connect with other people who are like you, and to recognize that you can succeed and that you're among a group of people that have succeeded, I think it just bolsters your confidence, and it allows you to create networks, a support system. And it really has done a lot for us at Lehigh and through the Da Vinci WISE Network as well.
Erin, what do you get out of it as a woman in the sciences?
Yeah, that support network is, and it's exciting for B. Braun as well. It's something that's important to us because as we continue to grow, we will have more and more STEM positions open, and we have to be able to fill those positions. And in the future, to fill those, we can't just draw from half of the workforce. Women make up 50% of the workforce, but something like 26% of STEM positions. So it's very, very important to B. Braun as well,
and
me personally.
And Karen, the research shows that it's really important to talk to those young women by the time they get to 8th grade before they're entering high school. Why is that so important?
Oftentimes we start to lose students. In 8th grade, test scores will show that they decline, especially for girls in 8th grade, the science test scores. And so we like to do sort of what the WISE Network does for adults, is help students connect with STEM professionals through some of our WISE field trip days and other events, getting mentors out into the schools, because you can't aspire to be something if you don't know what it is. And this goes for teachers as well. We find a lot of teachers just don't know what the opportunities are, and we're happy to be that connector.
Thanks, Karen. We're going to learn more about that right now.
This is a wonderful day for young girls to come visit the Da Vinci Science Center. We have all kinds of activities throughout the center to allow them to meet role models and learn more about different career opportunities.
I think it is important as a woman to be out there and showing young girls and young boys that this is what a neuroscientist or a scientist looks like.
I'm a third-year medical student, and I'm proud to be a woman in the sciences. It's really all about just being curious about how you work, how life itself works, how the world around you works.
When I see other women scientists, it makes me feel happy, excited, and it's fun.
Knowing that women can have the opportunity to be in the science and engineering career, it's pretty amazing.
I learned that you don't have to be a boy to be smart, and you can just be a scientist no matter what gender you are.
I think that it's really important that my students get to see women of all ages and in all ethnic backgrounds and in all varieties of STEM careers taking part in a community event like this, because it really helps my students see that they could be a college student, a worker for a toy company, a worker for a candy company, and they can still be involved in a STEM career.
Middle school is a critical time for exploring interests and for meeting people and role models.
We found that if we wait until high school, a lot of the girls will feel intimidated. But if we can capture their interest, then they tend to go into some of those science areas in the high school and then on to college. 8th grade, 7th grade, that's the time to capture them. And we're hopefully doing that. Our unit with Force in Motion actually involved the roller coasters, and it was phenomenal success.
When we first introduced the project, we really didn't give them a lot of direction. We gave them some basic vocabulary, speed, velocity, momentum. So they had to complete a roller coaster where the marble would successfully run from beginning to end without any help and without any kind of machinery.
The most difficult part was probably making this work right here, so it can go both ways, and this part making it go around and around.
We're very proud of ourselves because we took a lot of time to come up with our roller coaster.
Just being a female in the science area shows them that girls can do anything that they put their minds to.
About 50% of our workforce is women. In engineering fields, only about 15% of the workforce are women. We know that in future years there's an incredible demand for increasing numbers of folks to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. If we got more women to pursue those careers, we could meet that demand.
I think it's fun for girls to see female engineers as a role model so that they can picture themselves being engineers when they grow up.
It's important that the Girl Scouts help get girls exposed to the sciences at an early age so that they can be involved and help with innovation in the future.
I'm at the Da Vinci Science Center for the Women in Science and Engineering program. I always loved science. I love it so much.
It's really important that we have a lot of people trained in computer science. Whereas in the 80s, it was like 35% of majors in computer science were female. And now we're probably more like the 10 to 20% range. What the girls did today is we used studio.code.org. It's what they call kind of a block language. So you drag a statement over to a workspace, and then you hook together a series of statements.
It's like putting together puzzles to make the avatar on the screen do what you want it to do.
The game's really cool, and you can put different blocks together to make your person go forward, backward, or wherever you want it to go.
These are all what we consider core computational thinking concepts, and that's what we're trying to teach them.
The sciences are calling our names, so let's get out there and do it.
Once students decide to pursue a STEM career, how do higher education institutions help them succeed? For more, we return to Focus reporter Brittany Garzillo.
Laura, in our region, colleges and universities support women with scholarships, fellowships, and grants in everything from engineering to entrepreneurship.
At Lafayette, we have a rich tradition of providing opportunities for women in STEM.
Since we became coeducational in the 1970s, we've had a strong representation of women even in our engineering programs.
One way we support women in engineering at Lafayette College is through the Claire Booth Luce Research Scholars Program. The CBL Scholars Program provides support for 42 women engineering students over the course of 3 summers to work one-on-one with their faculty mentors on a research project. It also provides for their housing, their supplies, and travel to national conferences.
I received the Claire Booth Luce Scholarship, which allowed me to be able to conduct my research at Sullivan Park Wetland last summer under Professor Brandis.
The project is really oriented towards understanding why we're getting this algae bloom each year and if there's some way we can mitigate or design for that.
This past summer we monitored the rain events that occurred.
We really have been a magnet for women who are interested in engineering. Nationwide numbers typically run something like 18 to 20% of engineers might be women in most programs. We've always had about 25%, which is higher than average. And in the last few years, we've had a tremendous resurgence of interest. We've had numbers in the 30s over the last couple of years, and this year I was incredibly excited to find that we had 41% of the first-year students studying engineering this year are women.
Research shows that students who get involved early and have kind of that light bulb moment early on in their career can continue in a path to be successful and have the experiences that will prepare them for careers down the line.
We're at a special year here at Cedar Crest. We're celebrating our 150th year. We have been an institution that's tried to find the areas where women haven't had opportunities, to provide those opportunities and to help them succeed at the highest levels. Currently, we have over 65% of our current students that are enrolled in the sciences. Over time, we've had 20 majors in the various sciences: biological science, chemistry and physical science, nutrition, nursing and health sciences. The majority of our students in the sciences are doing undergraduate research from very early on in their career.
I am a senior at Cedar Crest College and I'm majoring in biology. What I do in my research is I use ginkgo biloba, which is a traditional herbal remedy, and I use it as a prophylactic treatment for stroke. In my medical career, I would like to continue with research, and I've gained such a passion for research being at Cedar Crest.
There are lots of opportunities at lots of different levels in the STEM field. So you can get a bachelor's degree and enter the workforce as a technician and make in the $40,000 as you're starting out. And really there's lots of room for growth. Or if you really want to be the one running the lab, then you go on and you work towards your PhD and you can enter into a workforce where the average pay goes from 80 into the 6 figures. To discount the women, that really means that you're losing half of the discoveries you could be making.
Zixtix is an open-ended wooden building toy that promotes spatial learning for boys and girls, young and old. Zixtix really hits almost every part of the STEM pillars. I came up with the idea for the first time during my sophomore year at Lehigh University in a product design class, and it's definitely evolved a lot since then.
Shannon Varco has been something of a poster woman for the Baker Institute. The Baker Institute was founded in 2010 to provide an opportunity for students at Lehigh in all disciplines to discover themselves as innovators and entrepreneurs. Shannon first came into our world as an undergraduate. We were lucky enough to convince her to stick around and become our innovator in residence. She works with the Baker Institute team to find more ways to work with students and help them find the connections that they need both on campus and off campus to make their innovative solutions a reality.
Through the Penn State Lehigh Valley Launchbox, I was awarded a $1,000 micro grant to use for my business.
Penn State Lehigh Valley Launchbox started in December of 2015. It has funded 28 different startup companies for early stage entrepreneurs. We have funded companies anywhere from $1,000 to $8,000, and we've given them access to a variety of different resources that will help grow their business.
I'm using the funds that I was awarded to provide and create curriculum to use Zixtix in schools. Getting young girls to realize that they can build and create amazing things helps them to realize that they can build and create amazing things when they're older as well.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Kristen, how does a school that's well known for its engineering program, like Lehigh University, support women in this field?
Well, since I've been at Lehigh, I joined Lehigh in 2003, I think they've been very proactive from the beginning about supporting family-friendly policies and creating a work environment where women colleagues can thrive. I'd say in 2003, Lehigh was awarded an NSF Advance Grant, which is a grant focused on improving the recruitment and retention of women STEM faculty. And that was a 5-year grant supported by the National Science Foundation. It ran out a year and a half ago, and now Lehigh has taken on supporting the programming that we know works. And you know, Lehigh it's a self-sustaining Lehigh program now. And so they've invested a lot in making sure that our women faculty can succeed.
And in speaking about that funnel and leading women into studying these fields, Karen, why is it so critical that they have support during the high school years as well?
In high school, the curriculum becomes more rigorous, and students are not geared to fail. They're geared to succeed, get the right answer the first time, and so supporting students through that failure, particularly women, is a really important aspect of it.
What are some ways that the WISE Network really supports that high school age group of women? To Erin, to Lynn.
The WISE Forum, I think, is a fantastic example. That night is specifically for high school students. I believe we had maybe around 100 that came to our recent WISE Forum event, and they actually sit down and they have dinner with STEM professionals, people in academia, and some of the panelists, and they get to chat about these burning questions they've had. Then we move to the panel portion of the evening, and we have, I think, 5 to 6 high-profile women in STEM professions from academia. For example, Ellen J. Kuhlman, I believe, the previous CEO of DuPont, was here with us last year. And they talk about, you know, their triumphs and failures in their STEM careers, and the high school girls, and actually all the girls that are there, boys and girls, get to ask questions. So it's a really, really cool event.
Lynn, the idea for that forum, share with us where it came from and why you think it's been so successful.
We've had 3 now. The initial idea just came from the notion of reaching out to high school girls and supporting them in their career development. We got some additional ideas about how to structure it actually from the Iowa Science Center. And the dinner portion, where you mix up the high school students with the professionals before going to the panel, was really stimulated by our conversations with colleagues.
And Karen, you really engaged the Girl Scouts in that event as well.
The Girl Scouts were able to assist some of the panelists and get really one-on-one time with them and bond with them and hear even more about their stories.
Well, as we wrap up the program, we'd like to hear from those women who you've been talking about who attended the WISE Forum. Here's a look at their wise words.
Welcome to our 3rd annual Women in Science and Engineering Forum. The Da Vinci Science Center is passionate about supporting women in STEM fields and inspiring young girls to follow in their footsteps.
I want to be a geneticist.
I like aerospace engineering.
I want to do biochemistry or physics.
If you can commit to something and you know that you want to do that no matter what, that's the bottom line.
I've known since the 10th grade that I wanted to be a physician.
I was interested in working with how things function. I'm really passionate about understanding how diseases happen and how can diseases be treated.
Had it not been for my 8th grade math teacher teaching me algebra and helping me to understand that I'm able to master any concept, I wouldn't be here today.
The statistics show us that American students are not the majority when it comes to pursuing these scientific and engineering and mathematics fields. So we have to encourage all students to consider it.
I started my career as an engineer, and being one of only a handful of women in my undergraduate class, you see that there's a gap. I think it's 25% in the industry of leaders are female, but at Mars we're at 40%.
I got a lot of encouragement for following what I was good at.
I want to make sure that my daughter has all the same opportunities that her twin brother does as an engineering college student.
I just have 3 words that I live by: commitment, perseverance, and introspection.
If this is something that you want to do, you need to stay focused on it.
Be patient, be thoughtful, be inquisitive.
Believe in yourself. Know that you can conquer concepts that may be foreign to you. Find someone who believes in you as much as you believe in yourself, and never give up.
I'm walking away from here tonight with kind of the message in my mind for all of us that we should do what we love, pursue our dreams, work hard, advance our skills, and we can and will be successful.
Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Focus. We'll see you next week. Until then, remember to focus on what matters.
This program is recorded at the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39 in Bethlehem.